A special report on a humanitarian crisis unfolding in the Democratic Republic of Congo in Central Africa. UNICEF is warning that at least 400,000 children there are suffering from severe acute malnutrition and could die within a year without emergency support. It also estimates that nearly 1.5 million people have been displaced from their homes. The crisis is centred on the country's central Kasai region, where fighting erupted last year. It was sparked by the killing of a traditional leader in clashes with security forces. Since then, anti-government factions have been locked in a spiral of violence with government troops and other government-backed forces who are determined to crush them. The UN says the crisis in the Democratic Republic of Congo is now as severe as those affecting Yemen and Syria. Our Africa editor Fergal Keane and cameraman Tony Falshaw travelled to Kasai. You may find some of the images in their report upsetting.
In a place so green, a land so fertile, we didn't expect the tragedy that haunts this road. But a man-made hunger has enveloped Kasai, stalking the youngest and the weakest. Nearly 500,000 children are at risk from severe malnutrition. At this nutrition centre run by Médecins Sans Frontières, we met 2-year-old Kalandi, malnourished and sick with malaria, with her mother in Kenda.
We walked for 3 months to get here. When I saw my daughter sick, my heart was full of sadness.
Children make up the majority of the nearly 1.5 million people displaced here. It began in June last year after a local chief, Kamina Nsapu, rebelled against a corrupt and brutal government. He was killed. In the terror that followed, both sides committed atrocities. A child with her leg hacked off. Another slashed with a machete.
We were sleeping when they entered our place and asked, "Who are all these people sleeping here? We can kill all the men who are here, and after killing them, we will tell our chiefs and show off about so many people we have killed in this village."
12-year-old Kapinga weeps for her murdered father. We met her and her brothers and sisters near Kananga, the main city, at a nutrition centre. A nurse points to the swelling caused by malnutrition. By pressing the skin, Crispin Mputu can assess the severity of the condition. Imagine walking on these legs.
I love that children eat. I love to rehabilitate them. I love when they are healthy. When I see there's nothing left, I'm sick. It's bad.
With the worst fighting over, people are returning to their villages. But they find homes burned, property looted. Little wonder these people were furious when they stopped us on the road.
We ask you to help us. We lost our children. They were killed, and we fear to go to the bush. The children are starving, and when we go to the bush to find food, we are killed. This soil on which we sleep is the same soil where we buried our children.
We paused on the road, and out of a wandering wilderness, the stories came. Marie and David walked for 300 kilometers with their 3 young children to escape violence. Marie is suffering from tuberculosis.
We were starving, for we had no food. We headed to the main road to look for food, but there was nobody, only dead bodies. We followed our son's pace, but his swollen feet stopped him from walking normally. It took 2 weeks to reach the city, but we found nothing to eat and nowhere to sleep.
Now they are walking home, hundreds of kilometers more. Then a young woman, weakened by disease. She is being taken home to die. Her name is Charlotte, her mother explains. I cannot afford to pay for medical treatment. Our village was attacked and everything destroyed. Here people pleaded for food. At this food distribution, only half rations were being given out. The World Food Programme is running out of money to feed the hungry and is warning many will die without international support. Weary of years of conflict in Congo and preoccupied with other crises, the world seems immune to these pleas.
There are 3 million people needing food in Kasai actually, but because there are no resources enough, we have to halve the ration.
Is it fair to say that you are being asked to play God, to decide who gets food, who doesn't, perhaps who lives and who dies?
Yes, I think it's a good point, and we're not ready to play that role.
Money that might have helped provide nutrition and healthcare has been stolen by a corrupt elite, aided by foreign corporations. President Joseph Kabila smiles upon corrupt cronies who have looted billions. This is the heart of the matter, as I put it to the governor of Kasai.
As a government official, do you feel any sense of shame about the looting, the corruption that has helped to bring your people to this misery?
Vous savez, le concept de la corruption. You know, this concept of corruption cannot be challenged. But it should not be tied too much to Congo or Africa and used to justify the absence of action. The most important thing is that when you give money, you get some guarantee that this money is well used.
Food aid does get to the people, but the needs are vast and the politics so unstable, so undermined by corruption, that new crises constantly threaten Congo. This is the government-run hospital in Chikapa, the second city of the province. 3-year-old Ishutsi Mbombo has just died. Fever, his mother Zembe explains. He died of fever. He died just now. This is Kasai, where children are dying from preventable diseases, their bodies weakened by malnutrition. And all of this is avoidable. Such suffering isn't the natural condition of these people. It's man-made. And that is the tragedy of Congo. A distraught mother waits for news of her sick child. And a lullaby, as tiny lungs fight to survive. Just some lives out of so many here, hanging in the balance. Fergal Keane, BBC News, Kasai.
Well, with me is Solomon McGarry from BBC Africa. Solomon, so many heartbreaking images there. We can see the desperate need for help, but getting it there is not straightforward, is it?
Absolutely. DR Congo is a vast country. It's the second largest in Africa. It's also home to the largest UN peacekeeping mission. It's been there for nearly 20 years now, but we can see problems still persist. When we had the peacekeeping mission being sent to DR Congo, it was basically to tackle problems in the eastern parts of the country, in the north and southern Kivu. But now you've got Kasai province, which is also home to diamonds, and DR Congo being a home to 30% of the world's diamond deposits. But look at what's happening there. It's poverty, instability, insecurity. Tackling problems in a province like Kasai and DR Congo doesn't get a quick fix or a magic solution. You've got to look at the entire mix of poverty, corruption, poor governance, instability, insecurity. Add on to that interests and interference from neighboring countries and from foreign countries as well.
Solomon, thank you. Inflation has